Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first official podcast for The Odd Not Couple. I'm one of your hosts, Byron Preston Jackson. I'm here joined with my other host, Miss Allison. I don't know your middle name, Unger. What is your middle name?
It is Gertrude for all those that would like to know. I know you ready for some
Yes.
sex appeal. Gertrude, name your kid, middle kid
I
Gertrude.
was hoping you were going to bring in something. I was like, her middle name has got to be something new. I was thinking. Well, actually, really
Very,
old, but
no, very old school Eastern European Jewish, which is very, very me in a nutshell. Because like my kugel and my strudel is like to die for. So, it suits me.
gosh. See, now I need you to like fully create an SNL Gertrude character for us. That's like
I have 100% been a Gertrude on stage before. She is amazing.
I feel like she wears like old 80s warm-up socks. She knits a little bit. No?
She has multiple beverages at all
Okay.
times. They're
Of
always so
course.
hot.
Of course. A
And she
little
like
bit of
lets
vodka there.
she like lets them cool down because they're too hot to drink, and then she forgets about it, and then she has to reheat it. So she's constantly like reheating her beverages throughout the day.
That's what's up. See, my middle name is like I'm like Lord Preston of the Farquhars.
You're very fancy. You're a very fancy man.
I'm just a regional guy. I drink Earl Grey tea in the mornings. And my dog Reginald. Oh. Oh no, he didn't like that. That's okay. Go ahead and introduce us for the whole family. This is a family podcast.
So I have a dog. She's gonna be up there. She is. She is
That's
now
okay.
duty of like making sure the house is safe.
Dogs are podcast gold. If
I
you didn't know
mean,
that.
she's what we call a peekaboo. Can everyone see her? She's a
This is like
peekaboo.
15 views. This is our views are going up right now from just the dog.
I mean, listen, she would love to host, but she's first of all not repped, and second of all, she has a
No
really
rep.
high buy-ins.
No rep. That's heresy in Hollywood for your dog.
That's not true. She is repped by Daniel Hoff Agency.
Okay.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Grace. She has
There we
had
go.
auditions this year, so
Okay. Okay. Well, for the viewers out there who might be tuning in, this podcast is something I wanted to do for a while. I pulled Allison in, kicking and screaming into this thing
like
here.
literally, I'm strapped to this couch, but without any any hearsay until the end of this podcast.
Exactly. Somebody off camera just pointing the weapon like.
I mean, pay for
Guys, I
this.
just wanted to do a fun podcast where we kind of talk about life, things going on in our acting world. We get to vent. We get to talk about Hollywood stories. Maybe we can recommend things that we've been watching, doing. Kind of just a whole mishmash, hodgepodge.
Can we tell them how we met?
We should. We should.
It's a good story.
It's a well. Let's hear your side of it first because it was the True Green brand that we met on.
Yes. Yes. So I was there for like a one day, but I think you had a whole campaign, right?
I was fortunate enough. That was my very first where I was like the guy for the brand for True Green. The pay was okay. I was hoping it was going to be more of like a this is awesome pay, but it was like, oh, this is good.
This is like I can definitely go grocery shopping twice this month kind of pay.
Yeah, my rent will be good for a month maybe.
Right, 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 right. So I was really excited because I was on set and I just get all giddy whenever I'm on set. It's like my favorite day. It doesn't matter. And the woman had spent by the way, she spent an obscene amount of time on my hair for that day.
Your hair just being like in a nice kind of curly down, do right?
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't.
I don't know what she was doing. I don't know what the goal was, but there was at least an hour spent on my hair, which I thought was really strange for an outdoor shoot, but I was like not going to question it because whatever. Um, but I was the overly excited neighborhood wife when you arrived onto my lawn to save my lawn, and I thought that was such a funny role. And it was played a lot. Like that got a lot of airtime.
It did. I feel like I didn't get to see that section of the spot a lot, but other people told me they saw that spot a lot, but I didn't see that section for some reason. But I just remember when you were on set that day, I was like, this girl is hilarious. Really, every time I was like, okay, first of all, I need to get her information before we go. And she was just cracking me up constantly. I remember during the scene, they kept trying to want it to be kind of like a little bit of an office thing where we were kind of looking at camera and having those little odd moments of breaking the
Right.
fourth wall. And then I just remember at lunch, you just kept the comedy going. At lunch, I was like rolling on the floor laughing.
And I was like nervous because I didn't want to take away from what you were doing because it was more of your spot than my spot.
But
So
you were there to bring the funny. I was just kind of meant to be like the gym of it
right,
all.
you were very straight laced. So I was like, well, I'm going to screw with this guy because it's super easy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing it. For people who don't know, in the Hollywood world, the straight guy is not his sexual orientation. It's the guy who's playing it real, who's playing it super straight. Like, man, I'm just here to work, and all these people are now really dumb.
Yeah, I was so happy for you to come. It was really funny. It was fun. It was a fun day for me.
Yeah, you know, we got to get into more of that kind of stuff. It's one of the reasons why, I wanted to have you in this podcast is just to get into more of that creativeness and having some of those good goofy times.
I think, yeah,
sorry,
we forget about that as actors, that we're allowed to have a good time, you know?
We're allowed to have a good time. We're allowed to create and collab and do things like this,
Yeah.
Definitely. So what's been going on with you lately? What's been happening the past like week or so just in your regular life before we get to some acting?
Oh, just my regular life?
Yeah.
Cool. So when I'm not on set, I have other jobs that I get to do. I am a sommelier in Beverly Hills, which is really kind of very cool.
Would you care to tell us what level?
I'm a level 2, babies. And I would sit for my level 3 and study for my level 3, but I'm honestly very busy and I'm not going to become a wine director anytime soon, so I'm good with my solid level 2. Level 2 means I'm a certified somm, which means that I know a lot, and I love knowing a lot. But I'm not advanced and I'm not a master somm. So, but I'm friends with those people. So, there's that.
That's what's up. Dude,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what's awesome. That kind of hits home for me because my brother went for his level 1 years ago. He, just because of business and life, hasn't gone for his level 2. But gosh, that's awesome. Now, if I'm assuming right, level 3 is probably that's like a full restaurant position. Like you need to work and be at a restaurant all day, I'm sure.
I mean, like if you're at a level 3, you know the differences between all of the producers everywhere around the world. It's really insane. It's really amazing. And it's something I definitely would want to do if I wasn't pursuing other things. But like if you're an advanced sommelier, that is
Your
your life.
career. Yeah, I was about to say that seems like you'd have to be like, okay, I can't act, which is like, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
We need you. We need you in Hollywood.
yeah. And then I also am an interior designer's assistant. So I get to go to big fancy houses and like do stuff with big fancy people, and it's really cool and artistic. So my life is, and I'm also writing a script. So it's like, I'm totally free all the time.
Yeah, just not busy. I can sit at home and write my script. I can have some writer's block.
Yeah, I literally have nothing to do at a given moment. Notice I have nothing to do. I always have something to do.
That is what's up. Quick question for you. Do you have a good recommendation for orange wine?
No, because orange wine is a joke and you should not be drinking it.
Okay, podcast over. I'm in.
I'm
Oh my
sorry.
God.
People who okay, listen, it's like people who say I like sour beers, like I like goose, right? I'm like, okay, that's cool, but that's like disgusting. Like, you know what I mean?
Hold
Like
on now.
I just am. Look, my brother would be so angry at me because he loves natural wines, especially orange wines. He thinks they're so cool. No, thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. It's no thank you for me.
She just there's like a little violin in my head playing right now as I just
Would
cry
you?
in the corner.
My question to people who like orange wine would be why? Why do you like it? Like, what is it about it?
Here's why.
Why do you like it? Do you like tasting sadness in your mouth? Like, what is it?
No, so I totally agree with you about the sour beers, like IPAs. There's actually like a funny article that came out about how IPAs are like really like mostly by sociopaths, which is a funny thing to talk about, but
Yeah.
I agree with that. But orange wine is super good. My fiance and I were in Amsterdam last May, so almost a year from now,
Okay.
visiting my brother and his girlfriend. And they introduced us to orange wine, and we were like, we just fell in love with it. It was like, it fit the season. It was like warm in Amsterdam. It was just like the perfect European little adventure to get introduced to orange wine. And then when we came back to the States, we were like struggling to find good brands. We found like one that's kind of okay. at
I mean,
Bevmo.
I can tell you where to go get the best of the worst orange wines if you want, but I
Please
could
tell me.
also I could also tell you where to get delicious wine. You know what I mean?
I would like both recommendations for the nasty wine and the good wine.
Okay. Well, if you okay, we can talk about that later. But
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
we need sponsors. If orange wine people want to sponsor me, I will shout it out and describe it in such a luscious way. Everybody will drink it, but otherwise,
If Bertrand Gold, if you're listening, hook us up.
look it up. Send us samples.
Exactly. All right. Well,
What do
moving.
you,
Oh,
what do you do when you're not being amazing actor, podcaster extraordinaire?
oh yeah. I was like, we got to talk about me a little bit. Well, my life is
About me all
I.
day.
Yeah,
Your life is what?
my life is like slow right now, not by design. It's like by circumstance. I'm looking for a new day job, so I need much more day work. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to go back to doing Uber right away, which is great. Postmates and Uber. But I just went last week and I dropped off my resume to a bunch of different kickboxing and boxing places, a couple of restaurants. You know, that's like my trade. I'm a second degree black belt by trade in Maryland, where I'm from. Shout out to Rockville, Maryland, on the East Coast. DMV. I was a full-time karate teacher. So I used to teach karate to all ages. I had 2-year-olds up to 80-year-olds in our classes. We had a mommy and me class I used to teach. So martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, gym management, personal training's like all my trades. So went and I did a bunch of hard copy resume hand-ins last week.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. I feel like they've kind of circled back to getting hard copies again. I feel like everybody for a little while wanted you to go to their online portal and do
Yes.
the double entry crap.
Yes.
Now it's like, just come in and give us a resume.
They're like, we're tired. Just
Yeah.
let me take a look at you.
Yeah, the hiring manager's here. Can you get here in 30 minutes?
Right.
So I went and did a bunch of that last week. And now I'm just trying to like get down to some of that influencer money. I'm like, I've been here in Hollywood for almost 10 years, letting all these influencers in like Milwaukee take all the money. What are we doing?
I mean, I'm into it. I'm old. I'm ready to influence on my elder knowledge. Like, let's go.
I should have started an OnlyFans during freaking COVID and just sold feet pics and bathwater.
I started OnlyFans, but it was like a cookie OnlyFans where I would see how hot a cookie was and like try to not burn my mouth.
You say that in a joke, but there's actually people who are sexually attracted to watching people eat.
I 100% would do like weird, like weird stuff.
Like, it's a legit thing. It's people like the chewing. It's like a real thing.
Yeah, it's ASMR, and they like the noises.
No, I'm talking about the visual too.
Oh, the visual?
It's like the chew and it's all of it. It's the whole thing. It's the eating, the mouth, the sound. It's a whole visceral thing. Yeah, it is a whole thing. All right, moving along here. First segment of the day. Typically on the show we're going to have a couple segments, but the first segment is movie show recommendations.
Nice.
I went out and last week we had some friends come over here to Glendale, and we went and saw The Wedding Banquet. Are you familiar with The Wedding Banquet?
I am not. I'm familiar with the original one, but not the new one.
The 1993 Ang Lee film.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what was so cool. I had no idea. I'm a big fan of Ang Lee, actually. I didn't know that he did like smaller kind of rom-coms like this, especially in the 90s. I had no idea. My first movie for him was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, of course.
Classic Ang Lee.
Classic. Funny, quick little side about that. I had heard nothing about that movie. It came out on Christmas, and my brother was like, let's go see this foreign movie. It's in subtitles. And I was like, huh? And he was like, let's just go see it. I was like, all right, man. I knew nothing. Went in there, and blew my socks off. I turned to him. I was like, it's a kung fu movie. He was like, I know, dude.
He's like, yeah, bro, I got you.
I got you. I hooked you up. Anyway, The Wedding Banquet was super, super awesome. Really great film. It stars Bowen Yang from SNL.
Mm-hmm.
Lily Gladstone. She was in that Scorsese movie. What was that movie with DiCaprio?
Flower something. Shoot. Moon.
Yes. Indigenous folks. Very good movie. See it. We're butchering it. Go look it up, everybody.
Yeah.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah.
Great in that movie. I think she got an Academy Award.
Did she win?
think so.
I think she did.
Nonetheless, this movie was super fun. Bowen Yang and his boyfriend live in the basement of Kelly Marie Tran and Lily Gladstone's house, well, in their garage in San Francisco. They're all dating, having fun. There's an old connection between Kelly Marie Tran and Bowen Yang's character. They slept together in college, which is always fun.
Right.
His boyfriend is from South Korea, who's got a really rich family in the business world. In order to get a green card, he proposes to Kelly Marie Tran. He's like, look, I'll help you guys pay for your IVF, but you marry me and we'll get a green card. So it's a win-win.
Okay.
Calls his grandma to get the whole thing going. Grandma's like, what? I'm coming to America. Because, grandma kind of already knew he was gay.
Right,
they just don't talk about it. She gets there and she's like, what are you doing? You're gay. I know this isn't going to work. Your grandfather's never going to believe this.
Right.
Anyway, comedy ensues. They go through with the whole full-fledged, big-blown Korean wedding. There's a little twist I don't want to spoil for everybody. But this is a really funny movie, really smart. Bowen Yang is hilarious. Kelly Marie Tran's hilarious. One of the stories that I really liked the most was the grandma's story. Their grandma. I love something about that older boomer generation kind of waking up from their fog and kind of joining us all here in modern reality where like people exist and they can be gay and trans and there's IVF and I just kind of love those stories where they just wake up. And so she was brilliant, this actress. Let me not forget her name here. It was, I believe it's Yoon Yoo-jun. She's an old South Korean actress, but she's been in a ton of stuff. She was amazing. I really recommend this. 8 out of 10, I'm thinking,
Nice.
I figured since we're actors, we're not going to really like review movies, especially if it's something we don't like. We just won't even talk about it. But the stuff we do love, come in, recommend it, try to build up some box office,
Yeah, I mean, anything we say can really help people, in their ratings for sure.
Seriously. What about yourself? Anything you've watched lately or?
Well, I love streaming because I feel like as actors, we need to see what's on streaming because that's where most likely we're going to be cast first.
Hope so.
I love The Studio. I didn't think I was going to love it. Have you watched it at all?
No, but I'm a big Seth Rogen fan.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
I've always liked Seth. He's just funny. He just, stoners like stoners, man. It's like...
Copy. I see, for me, Seth Rogen, I was not, he was the reason I was not going to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Because his gravelly voice, really annoys me for some reason. I always feel like he needs to, clear his throat. And I'm like, as an actor, it's like our voices are, tools. So I'm
Voice is your instrument.
Yeah, it's just use it, bro. Whatever phlegm you got going on, we all know how to get rid of it as actors. Anyway, I digress. The Studio to me is so funny and so smart, and the way it's shot is so different than anything else on TV. They've been doing these one shots, and it's been amazing. And then the pilot to me is really cool, how Seth gets the job as the producer. Bryan Cranston is hilarious as the studio exec. So you haven't watched it at all?
No. When you mentioned Bryan Cranston, I think people always forget about when he was in Seinfeld, how funny he was.
Oh my gosh, he's so funny when he converted to Judaism for the jokes. I'm like, oh my God, that's commitment. That is commitment for sure. But Bryan Cranston he broke later in life in his career, right? I think he was not a big star until his 40s, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he did that, in Seinfeld, all those guys, they were all late 20s, early 30s when they were doing Seinfeld.
Okay.
And then he got Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
And that was probably late 30s. And that was, let him right after that was Breaking Bad a few years later at the end of that. And so.
But anyway, and so they basically, it's this whole discussion about making movies and making art and making a profit. And I think it's so Hollywood and it's so great and it's so dirty and gnarly and it's really funny and fast paced and honest and brutal and harsh. And it's great. There's so many amazing actors on this show. Catherine Hahn is on the show, who I love. Ooh. Catherine O'Hara, what a treasure. My God, her career is spanning just generations, right? From from SCTV to Home Alone to what was the thing she did?
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
She's on The Last of Us.
Last of Us, she's in that commercial with can't even think of his name. It's been going around right now. It'll come to me.
But she's such a superstar. Catherine Hahn is amazing. She's so funny.
Having a real amazing 4 or 5 years, Catherine Hahn right now. She's in everything.
She's in everything, and it's like, how did she get herself there? Is my question, right? Was it PR? Was it people are just figuring out that she's amazing? Because she's always been amazing. Ever since, what was her? I don't know what her first movie was, but wasn't she in?
It's the Apatow connection. All these people are connected to Apatow.
Oh, because of Will Ferrell and everything.
Just Judd Apatow. He was one of the first guys who brought in Seth Rogen, and all of them. They've all been in a bunch of movies together. And
doesn't Apatow? I mean, he's amazing.
Amazing.
But wait, and his kids are acting now too, right?
He's married to.
She's.
Oh, no, I was thinking of McCarthy. She's married to what's his name?
She's married to the actor,
other actor,
and director who met in Groundlings.
Yeah.
But wait, who's Judd Apatow married to? Help.
I forget.
Wait, I'm gonna Google it. I think her name is Leslie. Hang on.
Yeah, go for it. No, but that whole connection, that's the thing of Hollywood is you start to see that these cliques of creatives and writers and actors kind of move through the industry as a group together, and they'll go off and do solo projects and things, but they'll come back for those marquee things, Because
you trust your friends on set, You're going to know you can speak honestly with them. You're going to know together you have a vision. Leslie Mann.
Yes. Yeah. I knew it was somebody.
Yeah, and I think Maude Apatow is acting. I think so.
Probably.
Yeah, she is. She's good. What was she in?
That's Maude and Gertrude.
Listen, we should be friends.
Yeah. Sounds like a restaurant.
Maude and Gertrude's? Maude was a restaurant here. It no longer exists.
Wow.
Do you remember that restaurant?
No.
Curtis Stone's restaurant. Maude. Close.
That is so funny you mentioned Curtis Stone, because we were just looking at a YouTube about his restaurant Gwen, which is in Hollywood.
Oh my God, delicious. Have you not been there yet?
No, we were like, we should go. But when we looked at the prices, we're like, we got to wait for the right occasion to go.
The occasion is Friday. Do you know what I mean? People are always like, I need a big reason to go out and spend big. You know what? You're going to be disappointed.
No, but in the restaurant.
Yeah, because whenever you have so much built up to go, you're always going to be disappointed. But if you happen just to go on a night where you're just I feel like going, it's going to be a great experience.
Okay, we'll take you up on that. We love new restaurants, so we saw that YouTube video on it. We're like, ooh, he's got a butcher shop in there.
It's pretty great.
That's wild stuff. But we'll come back to restaurant recommendations later.
That's later. Anyway, but I think I think the studio is a really insightful show as to making it in Hollywood.
Yeah, no, I am all about checking out the studio. Apple TV has got some really, really well-written stuff.
Shrinking.
I heard an NPR report a few months ago that unfortunately they're not getting the views. Apple gets the same amount of views in 1 month that Netflix gets in 2 days.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But this stuff is so good. It's really, really shy. Number one, the production value is crazy high. The writing is really, really good on all of their shows. I haven't seen a show on there that I've been like, oh, that was...
Me either. Apple is great. Did you see Acapulco?
Oh, but I heard about it.
Great Apple show. Hey, Apple, we love your TV. You know what I mean? If you want to cast either one of us, we love it.
Yeah, and a podcast, maybe situational comedy.
Oh, anything. Everything.
Speaking of comedy, have you been watching St. Dennis?
No. Is it good? It is. That makes me so happy.
Hey, I want to be on that show really badly. It's hilarious. David Allen Greer, super funny. I forget her name, but the lady from Reno 911. I love everyone in Reno 911. That whole cast I think they should all be working daily in Hollywood. I don't know how they're not.
Right.
Very good show. Check it out. Check it out. Good comedy. Yeah.
And if we're talking about multicams, Mid-Century Modern, Have you seen that?
No, but it's on our list. We're huge queer allies here at the Jackson household.
Nice.
And so we're going to hop on that one.
Mid-Century Modern, the best multicam I've seen in a long time. Shout out to them. What a great cast. Linda Lavin's swan song. I mean, can you ask for anything more?
Now, that one is actually more old school. Like it's just one or two sets, right? They're in the house, they're in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're done, it's done in front of a live studio audience too, which is very rare.
You don't get that anymore.
Nope.
I think like The Neighborhood still does that, but not many others.
They do, because I met the head writer, who is amazing.
For The Neighborhood.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Shout out to Howard if you're listening. Okay. Good man.
We'll have to share it. We'll share it to Howard there.
Yes.
Well, that wraps up the first segment here. We're just cooking along here. That was our recommendations for everybody. So if you're looking for shows, things like that, recommendation segment. Segment number 2, the acting update. This is where we kind of tell everybody what's been going on with us, audition-wise, the good, the bad, maybe something cool coming up. What's been going on with you? Let's go for, what do you want to do?
First? You go first. You talk. You brag about yourself first. What's been going on with you?
I'll let you pick. Should I talk about the bad or the good first?
Let's talk about the bad first.
Let's talk about the bad first. Gosh, where to start? The bad. No, the bad is just that Hollywood right now, and you know, everyone knows, is just in a weird place, as is the whole entirety of America. But I'll digress on that. It's just right now, the theatrical world, for me at least, is super slow. And that's obviously what we always want to get more of. The commercials are coming in steady, and commercials, when you have good commercial agents like we do, they just kind of keep coming in steady, 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 which is great. But I don't know, there's also this thing that's going on in the commercial world that's driving me crazy. I feel like, number one, commercial pay has not changed since I got here 10 years ago.
Wow.
Which is wild, like, at all. It might have even gotten worse, I think, in some sense. Like, buyouts aren't growing, which is weird. And also, what they're asking for us in these initial auditions is like, why are you even having us audition? Because all this is already on my resume. Like, that's the thing about commercials is it's almost like your resume doesn't matter, but it does. Like, you need to have a resume, and they want to see what's on your resume sometimes, but sometimes I'll have footage of things that they could just go and click and look at and then bring me right to a callback. I'm like, there's some of these first auditions, I'm like, why are we having a first audition for this?
Like, give us an example.
Oh gosh, let's see. Let me look through what I just went through this past week. There was one that really kind of irked me. Let's look here. I think it was Premier Protein. Was it Premier Protein? Yes, it was Premier Protein. I have to go back and look at these scripts because, you know, sometimes they give you these random little sides with these one-liner. It was one. There was one audition I had that was like, they really wanted to make sure you had comedy experience. They wanted to hear your comedy chops in the slate. So when you do your slate, they want that little interview section where I've been to 4 semesters at UCB and I've been blah, 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 and all these things, and I stand up and all this stuff, right?
Okay.
And then in the audition, there's no comedy. There's like, my line is not even a comedic line, or or the comedic actions are going to be other actions that'll be compiled, like it'll all come together at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you want me to audition as if there's going to be all this comedy from this one little line that I had that, so I have to try to bring it up maybe over the top or not do it over the top, and it's like, there's no comedy in this particular line.
I mean, when people say that, then I always button it because I'm like, here's where my comedy pro comes in.
Yeah.
I'll button it just the way that I would button it versus anybody else. But I think it's more like they want people to know how to improv because they change so much stuff on the fly. That's where I think it comes in.
Yeah, so I always try to give them the take that they want, and then I'm just like, here's something that I think is just what you're looking for, you know? But it's just, I wish that there are those moments when they would just say, you know what? Or at least the casting director would have some freedom to say, we don't need a first audition for this. These 8 people are qualified. They've been working. I see them a lot. Let's bring those 8 people in for in person.
Or it's like maybe the people who haven't gotten a bunch of work, they have to audition, but like someone like you who works consistently,
Yeah.
you come to the second call.
Exactly. I feel like that used to happen a couple years ago, and it's not happening now. So that's the bad in my career.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The good is just things are steady. You know, you never want to not have auditions. So that's the good is that things are steady. Volume is still voluming. There was one really that I had a lot of fun with. Oh, I hadn't had one of these, but now, you know, I'm in my 40s now, but both of us don't look like what they want a typical mom or dad to look like. I feel like they always like a little more salt and pepperiness
Really?
in their look. Like even
I'm
when I
like,
look at you, I feel like you're not giving what they want in terms of that older mom look. You know what I mean?
excuse me, I do not get called in for older mom yet. Okay, I get called in
No.
for young mom. Okay.
Me too, me too. But you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like when they always try to shoot things like a little bit older and younger in different spots, and I feel like we're kind of in that thing of where we don't look quite 40 something.
I am always called in for like a Midwest mom, which is
Yeah.
like clutch for me because like I have that look nailed down to a T, but I'm also from the Midwest, so that makes sense to me. So sometimes I'll bring my Chicago out a little bit more in the, in the accent.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, I don't know, just a little bit more.
That's perfect.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um
So what was the good audition?
oh, yes. So I was saying like I'm saying I'm finally I got my first testosterone audition, which was
Nice.
that one was like,
Nice.
ooh, I'm getting the male T, the T replacement auditions here. So that one was fun because I got a chance to kind of, they wanted you to kind of, do it up a little bit. So I was flexing on screen a little bit. Like my shirt, my muscle almost popped in my shirt. I was like, oh, had to say my lines right to the camera. Then we did a little pause. There's a section where you're supposed to hop a fence. I did a little jump back into frame. I was like, yeah, I hop fences.
That's impressive.
Yeah, pause again, and you're supposed to have all these bags. I had all these bags on me to get them in, and you say your last line to camera, and then a soccer ball comes from off camera, and you head it back to your son and say, "Nice cross, son." So we did all of that. And so that was super fun. I got into it, put a little slapstick on it, had some fun with it. So that one, those are the fun ones when you get to just be yourself, laugh a little bit, get goofy, do a little camera trickery with some pauses there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about you, young lady? What's been good and bad? Let's do the good first.
The good. Well, this was like an incredible week for me audition wise. I booked 2 commercials back to back, which is like crazy
Yeah, I
pants for me,
saw.
but hopefully more of a pattern, which I really like. Um, well, this kind of loops into the bad. So for the first call, I did the spot, and it was with elderly women who, for some reason, were very set on whatever role they had been assigned. That was the lines they had learned. That was it. Nothing else. That was it. That were
No
the 2 lines
room.
that they learned. And in an initial call, there's always copy that's going to be on the board inside the room. So even if you switch around, it's like the copy's right there. Don't stress it out. You know what I mean? But these 2 women really had a very, very tough time getting that copy out. To the point where, because my lines were more towards the end of the copy, so I had to wait for them to get there, and they just never quite got there, which was fine, but it was rough. For I would say we were in that room for like a good 15 minutes, and finally the casting associate was like, "Hey Al, like if they can't get to the line, just jump on in there," and I'm like, "Okie dokie." So I do that, and they never picked up my line ever, which is fine. So I was like, well, hopefully I get a call back for this, but if not, what a great learning experience. So I did, but it was for a different spot in the series. So I was like, oh, I always find that really interesting when they do that. Like, I'm like curious, like, what did they see in the initial audition that they were like, well, that was good, but now what we want this, we're going to move them to here. You know what I mean? So when I went to the
Interesting.
callback, I was the only type of me. It was just me, and then everyone else was like totally different type. So I was like, this is really strange, but I was like, I'm just gonna go in there and do what I do. And like I'm either the thing that they want or I'm not the thing that they want. Like I'm very nonchalant about commercial because my dad was in advertising ever since the 70s. And the best piece of advice he gave me was like, it's never just about you, which is great because you just go in and do your thing and you're either the thing or you're not the thing, or you do something that they didn't think of and they're like, oh, that's brilliant. Like let's do that thing. I go in there and I do my thing, and the director was like, I have no notes for you. And I was like, amazing. So either in my brain, I go, either they love what I did or they hate it. And it's so far away from what they want, right? But I book it. And it was funny because I had booked something the day before. So, you have that like energy of like, I just booked, So you go in and you're like, I booked. So take a piece, don't take a piece. And I was on a veil for something else. I was like, I'm like in the zone, When you're in the zone, I think you're so relaxed and you're like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. But for that callback for the thing I had booked before, that lovely office in Santa Monica, right?
Oh, 1516 Santa Monica, or 5th Street?
I love them. I love everybody at that office.
I just
Everybody
hate going over there.
It's such a drag to get there, right?
Such a drag.
Such a drag. And it takes years off of my life to get to that office always.
Yeah, for our watchers and listeners, guys, we're talking about going from basically both of us live in near the center of LA, which is not far from downtown, right?
Yes.
We're talking about going to the west side, 13 miles, which usually takes an hour both ways, sometimes 2 hours to come back home.
And we as professional working actors always like to arrive early, and we don't like to arrive on time. We're always I'm assuming I'm sure John Fulton will be watching this, who yells in my ear like, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And you know what? It's a great rule. It's a great rule. So I'm going there, and of course they're running behind, which is fine. And I had said to my agent beforehand, I said, look, my callback is at 11:15. They want me in Santa Monica at 10:15. I'm afraid it's not going to work out, and I don't want to be late for my callback, but I also like don't want to not go to this audition. So I got there early, thinking they'll take me right away. They did not, which is fine.
Shocker.
I mean, fine, no big deal. And then the person they paired me up with actually recognized me from a different callback that we've been paired together before. And I felt terrible because I did not recognize this person. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's like, we did Golden Corral together. Do you remember? And I'm like, I did not.
Hey, you.
Hey. It was over Zoom. Like I had never physically met this person.
Oh, over Zoom. No, I'll never remember.
Right. And so he's like, yeah, we crushed it. Do you remember? And I was like, I trust you. Like, I wasn't trying to be an asshole, but I also was like, I don't remember you.
Got it, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so we do that audition, and he goes, man, we crushed it. And in my brain, I go, no, we didn't. Like, but I didn't want to be rude because he was he was so excited. And I was like, we were not the thing. And that's cool. Like, sometimes I'd leave the room and I go, you're not the thing.
Yeah, it happens. You just didn't bring the sauce that day, or just like it wasn't clicking, or like they're not looking for me. Like,
right, you get the vibe. I don't know, like, and as an actor, we always have to trust our gut, and it's not a bad thing. And sometimes I'm wrong, but like I'm usually right. But whatever. He was so like he was high fiving me. He was like, you were so great. I was like, thanks so much. He's like, we've booked this. I was like, I don't think so, but okay, I love that for you. Like, I'm so glad you feel that way. Anyway, so I'm totally late for my callback on the way, of course. And they said, oh, they've pushed it back another hour. So if you can get there within this time, I'm like, amazing. Of course, traffic is still horrific.
Do you take the 10 or surface roads?
I take, it's a mix.
Yeah,
it
just depends. Just depends.
It depends. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm sitting in my car going, I just have to be there before this time. Like, I'm not going to panic. But of course, I'm panicking. The agents are texting me like, are you almost home? Like, what's your ETA? Because they're communicating with casting. And I'm just like, it's like, that's like not the energy you want in a callback, right? So I jump on I switch outfits. I jump on the Zoom. They immediately see me because, like, that's
Waiting.
how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes. And they were like, we love what you did in your initial audition. Can you just do that again? And I was like, sure. So I did that, and they're like, "Yeah, that's great." I'm like, "Okay." It was
Is that it? You don't
that
see it
was like
again? Yeah.
literally that was they were like, "Do we have any notes for her?" And you know how it's like you and it's just a black screen,
Yeah.
one person, but you see
Hear
like 20
voices.
boxes of other people who are obviously watching what you're doing. I'm like sitting there for like a full 2 minutes waiting to see if they want me to do it another way. And I'm sweating because I'm like I've just run up from my car to be at this callback. And they go, "Yeah, could you just do it like this way, like 10% different?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then I did it, and they were like, "Great, that was it. Thank you." And I'm like, "Thank you." Like,
Raced back home for nothing.
but I booked that.
Yeah.
So again, it never, I'm always surprised. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I book things. And not because I know I did or didn't do a good job, but like, I think it's so hard to tell over Zoom whether or not they're digging you.
Zoom and I feel like feedback has. I feel like there was a time when we actually got a little bit of feedback, and now we get no feedback at all.
Right.
And so yeah, sometimes you'll send off these first auditions, or you'll go in there for a Zoom. I just had a Zoom callback actually on Thursday. Actually, I should have mentioned that was good. It was for Amex, but the
Nice.
Zoom callback was at 11:45. Got in there, 10 minutes early. They didn't see me for another until 45 minutes in, and I was like one of the first three people. And this was for a like 2-line Amex thing where we're playing like a kind of a work like an electrical lineman, like a guy who services your electrical stuff. And I was like, what are we here for 45 minutes for? And then the director wanted us to ad lib a scene where we're buying some electrical equipment. We're talking about conductors and transistor boxes and fuse switches and all these things.
I mean, I think like it's just really interesting because if the actor shows up late, then it's a travesty. But if the client shows up late, it's like that's expected.
Yep. Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of our business. Is like clients can come in whenever and do whatever they want, and the actors like we were supposed to be.
Right. But, I mean, what is the famous saying? I get paid to wait, I act for free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Hurry
all.
up and wait.
I think that's true. Like that's part of the job and I've just like accepted it. At least when I'm home at Zoom, I can turn my camera off and wait with my dog and just, hang out versus waiting at a casting office and being like, I don't know. I need snacks. I need
Right.
snacks.
Well, it drives me crazy though. Is I'm sure you've had these where you have an early set time, but they're not
Yes.
shooting your spot until 2:30.
Yes.
What is it like? The last commercial I was on this year was with the Property Brothers, and
But wait, which one did you do? I auditioned for that.
the Anderson Windows.
It says yes. What were you, the painter guy?
Yeah, I was one of the guys, one of the worker guys, one of the feature worker guys.
Uh,
Were you
yes.
auditioning for the neighbor? Because there's a young girl who she booked the neighbor spot, and that might have been what you would audition for.
I auditioned for the wife,
Wife. Okay.
and
Yeah.
a very talented actress got it, who I really think is very funny. So I was very happy to see that she booked it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, and that one, I was there 2 days, and the first day I was using the morning, and the second day I had to get there at like 7:30. But then when I got there and looked at the sheet, I was like, "Oh, your spot's not until 2:30." I was like, "Why? Why am I here?" I was just literally hanging out, talking to makeup for like 4 hours waiting,
I never do so much reading as when I'm on set. Truly,
reading, scheduling, fine tuning, all the little knickknacks.
I think because they'd rather have the actors there if their day runs early
Hmm.
versus waiting around if the actor is supposed to be at like a later call time. That to
Of
me is like,
course.
and sometimes things get shifted around during the day.
Hmm.
I was on a set where I shot in the morning and then I was done by like 10 a.m. But they needed to wait until sundown to shoot my hands for a shot. So I didn't leave until 8 o'clock at night. It was wild.
Holy.
So I had to get there at like 5:30 in the morning. I was basically wrapped by 10 a.m., but then had to just sit. It was fun. Literally, I read an entire book.
Yeah.
I took a nap.
Got some
I,
free
you know,
food.
What is your opinion about set food? Do you enjoy set food?
I mean, some of the set food I've had in the past year has been really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had some places that had really, like the set food on this Anderson Windows one was actually really good.
Nice, nice.
And so it just depends on who they have catering, really.
I'm always so nervous because I have like weird food phobias because I work in the industry as to whether or not they're keeping it temperature controlled.
I know
So
what you mean.
I always go raw. Like I never eat any of the meat or fish or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if they're like grilling up right there in front of you?
Yeah, because unless they're checking it with a food thermometer, like I know what the food temp should be. So like, and I know it's so weird, but I have a fear of getting like sick on set and then being like, you still have to go on. Like that is like such a weird fear. So I usually eat super raw, like I eat like salads and stuff when I'm on set, and not because I'm vain, because I love a burger, don't get me wrong. But, like I'm terrified that it hasn't been temp controlled the entire time.
Speaking of burgers, actually, how do you feel about people ordering burgers like medium rare?
What's wrong with it?
Isn't a burger supposed to be served at like 165 temperature? Because it's
Um,
ground beef. It's not like like a steak is a solid piece of, muscle. But the ground, isn't it supposed to be a certain temperature?
so it depends on where the beef is coming from for me. So if it's coming from a reputable farm and they haven't, they've stored it properly, like I love a medium rare burger. To me, that does not bother me.
See, I always thought that it was like it's not healthy or safe for a burger because of the groundness. It needed to.
I never thought about it that way. Who knows?
Who knows? One day we'll have a chef come in and tell us all about it.
I
But
love that.
Miss Allison, we're actually running out of time.
We are.
See, this is how fast the show goes. It just once you start going, we didn't even get to everything.
We didn't. I mean, I was so ready to talk about Minecraft. I was ready.
I'm ready. We can breeze through the box office stuff, but we got
I
like
mean,
maybe 5 minutes left.
I don't. Okay, but then we'll wait for the other stuff that we had lined up for next time.
Yeah, but I try to tell you, this is just kind of how it goes. Once you get rocking and rolling and talking, it just flows through.
But all right, so let's summarize our week. It was good. It was bad. It was ugly.
It was good.
Okay, good. Same.
It
I
was
feel the
good.
same way.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I can't complain. I just had a 41st birthday a week ago. I was really spoiled by my fiance. I got a roof over my head. I'm chasing my dream, so I can't complain too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Does capitalism suck? Yes.
What are you gonna do?
What are,
It's where we live.
what are we gonna do?
It's where we live.
Yeah. But
But did you see that California is the fourth largest?
It's official.
It's official.
It's official. Time to secede. I mean, what? I didn't say that. What?
I believe it. I would be okay with it.
Dude. Oh man, we'll have to just start a political adjacent podcast to this.
We should, because I feel like you and I are in alignment with a lot of things.
We totally are. We could go on for 2 hours, have our own MSNBC segment and everything.
And I was a poli-sci major, so I know how to talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm just a black man in America. I also not.
And I'm a Jew in America, fearful for her life almost every day. So there's that.
Right?
Same.
So
Same
we're gonna
thing.
leave you guys on that positive note. No, no, but yeah. So this was the soft opening. I think every episode we should have like a title. This was the soft opening.
I love it. I'm a big softie, so that makes me feel good.
Yeah. Tune in. This was the soft opening. We're gonna eventually do more of these. Hopefully, be a weekly podcast where we talk to you guys about acting, what's going on in our lives. We plan to also talk about some acting news today and some box office numbers, but we'll get to that next time as we tighten up the show here. As for me,
we should have a tag outline.
what's the tagline? What do you want it to be? What's like the
We wish you call back some bookings and caviar dreams or something like that. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
Send that right there. That's it. You say it. You do it.
We wish everybody callbacks and bookings and caviar dreams. May you rise to the top, and it's better. There's a better delivery for that.
Now you need a haiku at the end, but
But I wish everyone to have the best week. I hope all of your dreams come true and that you get at least 1% closer to your dream. How about that?
exactly. Yes, I think that's beautiful. Until next time, everybody. Peace.